What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another Camo video. So today we are going to be discussing the Grau in depth. So obviously I already got Damascus. You guys probably saw it on stream. But yes, it's time to talk about all the attachments, all the challenges, and just how the gun performs overall. Also, I think it's important to talk about the history of this weapon, at least in terms of the Call of Duty franchise. So the origin of this weapon is that it came out back in Modern Warfare 2019 as a DLC weapon, kind of like a post-launch thing where it didn't come out when the game first came out, but it came out a few months later. But when it did, it actually became one of the most popular assault rifles in that game, especially for Warzone. People used this for a lot of long-range purposes, and it did pretty well for a very long time. The whole meta for the Grau, especially in Warzone, did last for quite a bit, and this was during, I guess, only when Modern Warfare was part of Warzone. But even in multiplayer, it was still a pretty formidable gun. I've seen a lot of YouTubers, especially in Search and Destroy, use this. And I think before Modern Warfare 2 came out, I did actually use this. I got Platinum on the assault rifles in that game, and I did end up getting this one Platinum as well. But as for this game though, I kind of expected it to come out a little bit earlier, given the fact that, maybe about a year or two ago, we were only getting nothing but Modern Warfare weapons. And you would assume that the Grau, given its popularity in Modern Warfare 2019, would have made its way into this game, but that was just never the case until now. I even assumed that maybe it would have gotten a mythic skin as well, but of course here we are now. It's only getting a legendary skin for the season. So now let's actually talk about the assault rifle itself. So it functions more or less the same as it did before in Modern Warfare 2019. We do have all the different barrels with the different iron sights, as I mentioned in a previous video. And they also do have pretty much the accurate magazines, the 50 and the 60 round mag. And the mobility stats as well as the recoil control is more or less the same as it was in Modern Warfare 2019. Basically, they got this gun right to almost every single detail. So a lot of people have basically said that this is a much more improved version of the AMAX. Obviously, the AMAX performs a lot differently in Modern Warfare 2019 compared to what it does right now, because I think in Modern Warfare 2019, it's like a 3-shot kill. But in this one, it's actually a 4-shot kill. So the Grau basically performs the same way. The only difference is just the fact that it's a lot more stable. It's a lot more mobile. You could use like a lot of different barrels and it won't really cause any issues with the recoil. And yeah, so basically it's just better all around. So first off, let's actually talk about the barrels, because this is probably the most interesting aspect of this gun. And it's the fact that with each barrel, the iron sight is different. I mean, it's not so different to the point where, if you use one of them, it's going to be worse or anything. If anything, all of them are just equally the same. I would say the best one is probably the Archangel, and then, following with the Nexus. But all the other ones are pretty good as well. So all these barrels, other than just their iron sights, have some pretty unique properties. There's one called the Drifter barrel that basically kind of makes it into like a short range barrel with a integrated grip, kind of like how the Grau combo grip worked on the AK-47, except it's a lot faster instead of slower. That one is the one that I've been using for the majority of the time. The only downsides is that you lose 25% range and 25% bullet speed, but in a map like Shipment, it doesn't really matter. And plus, you could use a monolithic suppressor to kind of just make up for the lost range, so you basically just have default range. They have other barrels like the Squall barrel that kind of does increase your ADS speed, but it doesn't increase your movement speed, or it doesn't really give you any vertical recoil control, but it's just there just in case you don't want to have too much movement speed, I don't know, or if you don't want to lose any range. I think the only downside for that one is just 12% bullet speed, but again, it's something that doesn't really matter too much. As for the last three, they have one that kind of increases your range and your bullet speed by just a little bit without having too many downsides, which is, I believe, 10% ADS speed that you lose. They also have, of course, the Nexus and the Archangel barrel, which are probably the two most, I guess, famous ones that are probably going to be used in everyday situations. Both of them are kind of like the same in terms of attributes. The only difference is that the Archangel only has a slight improvement when it comes to its range. I think it has like 35% more range, but like the Nexus is only 28%. It's not really much to make a difference. But I would say if you want the better iron sight, you could probably just pick the Archangel. As for the Nexus barrel, it's basically a lighter version of the Archangel with a lot less downsides. And I think this is one that a lot of people are going to be using a lot more, since it basically has more or less, I guess, the same attributes. I think the only difference is that for some reason this one, or I guess the Nexus barrel, has a lot more bullet speed for some reason. I don't know why that's the case. but it probably shouldn't be. But yeah, it's just Archangel barrel with like just less downsides. So it's also important to talk about the stocks because they do play a massive role with this gun specifically, and it's obviously the no stock. Of course, it does have its own version of strike stocks and I guess the lightweight stocks, the one that has like a slight ADS speed and a slight amount of ADS movement speed. But I would say the top pick obviously is going to be the no stock, given that it has like a lot of speed and a lot of ADS movement speed. It has like I think 20% or 30%. It's pretty fast, maybe a little bit too fast for my liking specifically because I'm more of a person that just likes a decent amount, not too much strafing speed. But yeah, it's gonna be the top pick either way. The same goes for the I guess the grips. They're more or less the same as before, just they have the rubber grip, they have the ADS bullet spread grip, as well as the fast one. So yeah, like all the other attachments are just more or less the same. There's nothing really unique about them. So as for the camo challenges, I think overall I would say that it's actually very easy. Probably the hardest challenge would maybe be the long shots, but even then it's kind of a stretch. It's not really that difficult so long as you're in a long range map like kill confirmed high rise. But yeah, long shots is definitely the hardest. When it comes to headshots, very easy given it that has a pretty good multiplier. As it goes for hip fires, it's surprisingly good with hip fire. I don't know, like all these weapons that have been coming out recently have really good hip fire benefits for some reason. So I guess it's time to talk about the range and just the damage. So the range isn't really that far, especially for 4-shot kills. I would say it's like less than 20 until you put like maybe like the Nexus or the Archangel barrel or even a monolithic suppressor. Yeah, it's like the range isn't that much, but you could still 4-shot within the second range only if you hit like in the upper arms and the chest. But I'm sure you could like extend the range pretty highly if you put like the Archangel with the monolithic suppressor. And keep in mind, since this is a much faster assault rifle, having both of them together really doesn't make too much of an impact when it comes to your ADS speed. So that's something to keep in mind. I would say that with that combo together, you know, if you mix it with no stock and the OWC laser, I would say it's still faster than the average assault rifle that would normally have a combo like that. Even if you don't want to max out your range completely, you could just stick with the Archangel barrel and just use maybe long shot or, you know, maybe the tactical suppressor just in case you guys don't want to lose in like a lot of speed. I would say that all the barrels in this game probably have a reason to be there. And, you know, most barrels that you unlock for most guns aren't really that useful. Like, I mean, they have light barrels for the FFAR, but really, who's going to use that? People are obviously going to use the Task Force or the Takedown barrel. But yeah, that's something that's actually pretty interesting. I mean, this is one of the first guns in a long time to actually have like useful barrels. Like all of them are useful within multiplayer at least, because I know in Battle Royale people use like long barrels on snipers to be more accurate, but when it comes to assault rifles and like their barrels in at least in, you know, multiplayer mode, not all of them are always going to be used, but this time around it's different. During one of my last high-rise games before I got gold, I did try using the drifter barrel with the monolithic suppressor and just like this weird combo, and it still worked pretty well. The only downside was the fact that I didn't have, well, I guess I just had the default range, but even then it still performed pretty well. And given the fact that you also lose 25% bullet speed, it still kind of fared pretty well. I would say like the bullet speed, even if it's reduced down to 25%, I would say it's kind of, it's almost equal to the AS Val with the mid-range barrel, as sad as that sounds. So overall, the Grau is a pretty good assault rifle as of right now. Obviously, when I get Diamond, I'm going to use it a lot more in other matches. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think about the Grau. Even if you don't have it unlocked, how do you think it feels? You know, you could use it in the training room to, I guess, kind of get a feel for it. But yeah, anyways, have a wonderful day, guys.